Welcome back to What Are Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the T110E4. It's a Tier 10 American tank destroyer. It's located on the south spawn of Ruinberg and it's under the command of spaceweasal. Now you might know spaceweasal under another name. This is his alternate account and he normally goes by the name Andromeda. Okay, battle's underway. Now it's got a big 155mm gun, capable of 750 alpha, penetrating 295 with standard ammo, but he hasn't loaded any. He's actually put 27 rounds of APCR, penetrating 375mm of armour. Now the turret will turn round 90 degrees either side of its centre mark, so you can't shoot behind you, unfortunately. In fact, there's a big engine behind you. And this was one of several groups of vehicles, all designed at various different times. The T110E3, E4, this one, and then the E5. And in fact, actually, if I remember correctly, there's 4 vehicles. And one of them was discarded and wasn't actually produced. They didn't make any prototype or anything. Now it does have a rather long reload. Oh, he's getting good hits. It's his second hit of the game. First one was a low roll on the E75 with only 583, but the second one 784 high roll. So low roll the first time, high roll the second. Let's look and see what he can do this time. Well, yep, the E75 takes another low roll, 704. Yeah, they're really in the wrong position, those guys. The E75 should be pulling back behind that corner, and I think he suddenly realised. No, he hasn't realised, and he takes another hit. And he's not out of the game yet, but this time round there was a high roll. So, yeah, spaceweasal is racking up the damage. And that E75 really should pull back. I'm not sure if he's... No, he's not pulled back and he's now going to die. Oh, no. That was lucky. He survived for that shot. But now he's out the game. And in fact, actually, it was our E75 that killed their E75. Now, the rest of our guys have abandoned this corner. But I have the feeling that spaceweasal is going to hold this on his own. He's got very thick frontal armour. So he should be able to defend this corner on his own. The turret armour on top is 203mm on the front. The hull armour is 260mm. And once you see the armour profile, you'll understand why this thing is so tough. The commander sits underneath that cupola right in the centre of the tank behind the gun. So he's got a good all-round view. Oh, IS-3. Oh, he didn't. In fact, he took a round from the IS-3 too there. And another one. Not good. Lost the commander. So those were obviously cupola hits. In fact, I think we can probably have a quick look and see where they went in. Yeah, you can see both of them hit the same spot. Well, now he's got a... He could put the commander back in. And, oh, he's been hit again. Same spot. But this time round, he's not going to sit and wait. He's going to actually move over. He did take another hit from the IS-3 too. But there you go. He's got another kill. And this time it's Cramvon. And that IS-3 too is now in a bit of a pickle because he can't engage spaceweasal. And he's... Oh! Well, the Progetto 65 did get a kill on RE phase 2, but that IS-3 too is now about to get hit with a big round, and there you go, he's out the game. Nice, and they've also lost their Superconch. So there's only 4 enemies left. One of them up the road, and there's 15-16. Let's hope he comes around that corner, because if he does, he's going to be a dead duck straight away. Thin armour, which will allow this shell to overmatch and penetrate. Okay, here we go. Yep, that guy's gone, but he didn't get the kill. Sharpview Tier 4 got there before him, and that guy is now out the way. So there's only 3 enemies left, 2 Progetto 65s and a Waffenträger auf Panzer IV. He still hasn't put his commander back in, and of course that's going to affect his view range, which is only 390 meters normally. So he's probably got a much reduced view range at this moment. In fact, I think you can see that, or if you look at the mini-map. Okay, there's one of the Progettos. Okay, dial in. Yep, gets the hit. Nice one. Left him on 1 hit point after getting a high roll. He's now up to just under 6k of damage. Huge total. Needs that commander put back in though. Oh! He just killed the Progetto 65. And he's completed whatever mission he was actually up to. I think it's Tank Destroyer 8. And there's a Waffenträger just up the road. He's the last enemy. This is for the game. He'll easily penetrate this guy. And he does penetrate him and take him out of the game for 736. Nice victory from Spaceweasal. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first ace tanker for Spaceweasal in the T110E4. He managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills, he got 4 exactly, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 5 exactly, and he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and his win rate from the battle was 10,430, which is high super unicum and quite a bit more. And he says this is the best ever game he's ever had in a T110E4. Well, I can believe it. It was a very good one. If we look at the table, we can see that he managed to get the highest damage in the game with 6,830. The nearest player to him was the Kranvan on his own team with 4,083, followed by the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV on the enemy team, who managed to tank Sniper and 4,000 hit points. So, yes, he was quite a bit above them. When it came to kills, he had the highest number of those with 4. The Charfuture 4 got 3. And in fact, actually, he also picked up an Oskins medal. And, well, Spaceweasal would have had 5 kills if that Charfuture 4 wasn't quicker on the trigger than Spaceweasal in that instance. The E75 also managed to get a Spartan in that game as well. And when it came to base XP, yep, he's got that one as well. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,190 went to Spaceweasal. 897 went to the Charfuture 4 and 879 went to the Kranvan. He fired 12 rounds in that game and only missed with 1 of them. He got 11 direct hits on the enemy and 10 penetrations. Yes, very unlucky on one of those shots to not get a pen. 6,830 hit points of damage. All of it at close range. I think the shell that didn't pen was the E75 one, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the one he fired at the E75 because it just blocked it. 7 hits received from the enemy, 4 of them penetrated, and I think 3 of those were from the IS-3 too, as well as 3 non-penetrations as well. 1,150 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, 128 hit points of damage assistance. On a free player count, he earned 50,077 credits, got 70,000 for mission completion, a total of 120,077 credits altogether. But after repair and ammunition resupply, he took a profit of 40,796 credits. He got 7 bonds and 1,190 base XP times 2 for the first victory, 2,380 experience points altogether. So the T110E4. Let's have a look at the armor profile and maybe you'll understand why this thing's so tough. Well, looking at this, you can see it's a bit of a monster from the front. That mantlet is actually 254mm thick, and I don't think you're going to get through that easily unless you've got pretty heavyweight APCR or heat. The upper plate you can see here, it's only 180mm showing here, but it's actually showing 293 effective armor because of the well angling. It's nicely angled, you can see there, very rounded, very eggshell shaped. If we look at the front and you're looking at that lower plate, you can see even though it's showing 120mm of actual armor, its effective armor is up to 180, and the closer you get to the center point where it actually curves up onto the upper plate, you can see it gets incredibly tough to get through. So it's 260mm at the join, at the eggshell point, and that actual armor, but it's actually showing effective armor of over 300mm. So yeah, I suppose you can penetrate the lower plate if you've got APCR or heat, and you can penetrate this upper plate, but if the person's angling well enough, I don't think you're going to, because just look at those effective armor figures. 300, 400mm, not a chance, and it's so well angled, you're more than likely going to ricochet off the armor anyway. As you can see here, the armor from the front, you can see it's fairly thick still, at 240mm either side. I guess the weakest spot from the top would be the armor on the cupola, which is 152mm thick, but is effective armor of 187. So it's still pretty strong, even on a weak spot. If we look at the sides, again, it's a lot easier to pen from the sides. You've got a big engine area here, which is fairly easy to pen as well. Very thin armor, 76mm. So ideally what you want to do if you're facing this one from the front and he's angling is go through the drive wheel into the side of the vehicle and hope that you can get a pen. It is angled, so you could get a ricochet off that armor if you fire through the drive wheel, but yeah, just hope and pray that you just immobilize him and stop him from going anywhere. And if your teammates can get behind him, remember this turret cannot turn all the way round, so if you can actually get behind him, if I put the turret all the way around, you can see it'll only turn 90 degrees. So if you actually do get behind this tank, he's not going to be able to put his gun to bear on you, and therefore you can take advantage of him. Have your wicked way with his rear. Let's have a look at the modules. Okay, there's the modules up, and we can see that, yeah, very unusually, the driver in this vehicle is actually in the turret. There he is. He's sitting up in the turret on the front left-hand side as you're looking at it. All below where that thick armor is ammo rack. So you've got 4 major ammo racks down below, 2 up front, 2 at the rear. The gunner is on the right-hand side of the vehicle as you're looking at it. The commander is in the cupola, and that's the guy who got taken out. You saw where those shots went in. They went in about there, but I think they did hit the commander and knock him out of the game, and he didn't put the commander back in before the end of the game. Actually, I think that may have cost him some experience points. The 2 loaders, yeah, it's a big shell, the 155mm, so it does require 2 loaders because it's 2-part ammunition, and they're either side of behind the driver and the gunner. So they're either side of the commander, who's sitting right in the middle. Basically, he's able to kick these guys to get them to work. He's got the radio just next to him as well, so he can talk to other tanks. If we look down at the engine, we can see that the fuel tank is actually in the front of the in front of the engine, and then we've got the transmission here at the back. So it's actually transmitting through the rear tracks, not through the front tracks. There's the engine, there's the transmission, fuel tanks in between them, and the ammo rack. So if you want to take out the crew members, well, you're going to have to get a shell through the side if you want to take out these loaders, or the gunner, or the driver. The easiest person to take out would be the commander. As you saw, one of those guys, the IS-32, did punch those shells into the cupola, and it worked. Trying to get an ammo rack on this one, you'd have to aim for the front set of return rollers, and if you can get it through the gap, you might be able to set off and penetrate and set off these ammo racks here. So there you go, that's where all the modules are on the T110E4. So I hope you enjoyed that game, and if you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.